Welcome to another captivating Sovereign Diplomat episode. In this video, we'll unpack the nature of the Franco-German alliance that's shaping Europe's future. We'll take you on a journey from its formation to its current state, revealing how these once rival nations became Europe's dynamic duo. We'll explore the key areas of cooperation between France and Germany, from economic policies that influence the global market to defense strategies that are reshaping European security. We'll also dive into the historical tensions that make this alliance so remarkable and the current challenges it faces. You'll get insights into how the current leaders of France and Germany are steering this partnership and positioning Europe on the world stage. And if you've been wondering how this alliance stands up to global powers like the US, China, and Russia, stick around. To truly understand the significance of the Franco-German alliance, we need to rewind the clock and explore the tumultuous history between these two European powerhouses. For centuries, France and Germany were locked in a cycle of rivalry and conflict. This antagonism reached its peak in the 20th century with two devastating world wars. World War I from 1914 to 1918 saw France and Germany on opposite sides, resulting in millions of casualties and a deeply scarred continent. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed harsh penalties on Germany, sowing the seeds for future conflict. Just 2 decades later, World War II erupted, with Nazi Germany invading France in 1940. The occupation that followed left deep wounds in the French psyche and further strained relations between the two nations. However, in the aftermath of World War II, visionary leaders on both sides recognized that continued hostility would only lead to more destruction. Key figures like French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman and German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer began to advocate for cooperation rather than confrontation. A pivotal moment came in 1950 with the Schuman Declaration, which proposed the creation of the European Coal and Steel Community. This organization, established in 1951, brought France, Germany, and other European countries together to jointly manage their heavy industries. It was a strategic move designed to make war between France and Germany not merely unthinkable, but materially impossible. This bold step towards economic cooperation laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the European Union. More importantly, it marked the beginning of a new era in Franco-German relations, paving the way for the alliance we see today. The transformation of Franco-German relations from enmity to alliance reached a defining moment on January 22, 1963, with the signing of the Élysée Treaty. This landmark agreement, also known as the Treaty of Friendship, formalized the reconciliation between France and Germany and laid the foundation for their future cooperation. The treaty was signed by two towering figures of post-war Europe, French President Charles de Gaulle and German Chancellor Konrad Adenauer. These leaders, both shaped by the ravages of war, shared a vision of a strong, united Europe with France and Germany at its core. De Gaulle, a symbol of French resistance during World War II, saw the alliance as a way to amplify France's influence in Europe and counterbalance the growing power of the United States and the Soviet Union. Adenauer, who had opposed the Nazi regime, viewed closer ties with France as crucial for Germany's rehabilitation and reintegration into the international community. However, it's important to note that the treaty wasn't universally welcomed at the time. Some in Germany worried it might weaken their ties with the United States, while others in France feared it could lead to German dominance. Despite these concerns, the Élysée Treaty stood the test of time, becoming the cornerstone of Franco-German cooperation. The Franco-German alliance has evolved significantly over the decades, adapting to changing global dynamics and European needs. Let's explore some of the major milestones and agreements that have shaped this partnership. In the 1970s and 1980s, the alliance focused heavily on European integration. French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing and German Chancellor Helmut Schmidt were instrumental in creating the European monetary system in 1979, a precursor to the euro. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and German reunification in 1990 marked a crucial test for the alliance. French President François Mitterrand and German Chancellor Helmut Kohl rose to the occasion, working together to ensure German unity within a more integrated Europe. Their efforts culminated in the Maastricht Treaty of 1992, which created the European Union and laid the groundwork for the euro. The early 2000s brought new challenges and a shift in focus. The alliance played a key role in shaping the EU's response to the global financial crisis of 2008. The joint leadership of French President Nicolas Sarkozy and German Chancellor Angela Merkel was crucial in stabilizing the Eurozone during the subsequent debt crisis. The 2019 Treaty of Aachen, signed by French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, renewed and expanded the Élysée Treaty. Throughout its evolution, the Franco-German alliance has seen shifts in its focus. However, this evolution hasn't been without its tensions. Differences in economic philosophies, approaches to EU reform, and defense policies have at times strained the relationship. But what exactly makes the Franco-German partnership so powerful? First and foremost, it's a matter of sheer economic might. Together, France and Germany account for about 40% of the Eurozone's GDP. They are the two largest economies in the EU, with Germany being Europe's industrial powerhouse and France boasting significant strengths in sectors like aerospace, luxury goods, and agriculture. Politically, the Franco-German alliance has been the driving force behind European integration. From the creation of the euro to the shaping of EU institutions, many of the Union's most significant developments have stemmed from Franco-German initiatives. Geographically and culturally, France and Germany bridge Northern and Southern Europe. France, with its Mediterranean influences, often represents the interests of Southern European states, while Germany is closely aligned with Northern and Eastern European perspectives. This unique position allows them to broker compromises and find solutions acceptable to diverse EU member states. However, it's important to note that this dynamic duo status isn't without its critics. Smaller EU states sometimes feel overshadowed, arguing that the Franco-German axis wields too much power. There are also occasions when France and Germany disagree, leading to policy gridlock in the EU. The Franco-German alliance extends across numerous domains, but three areas stand out as particularly significant: economic policies, defense and security strategies, and cultural and educational exchanges. In EU decision-making, France and Germany often set the agenda. Their bilateral meetings frequently precede major EU summits, allowing them to align their positions and present a united front. This pre-coordination can significantly influence the outcome of EU-wide discussions. For instance, when France and Germany agreed on the need for a COVID-19 recovery fund, it paved the way for the historic €750 billion next-generation EU program. Their influence is particularly evident in the European Council, where EU leaders make the bloc's most important political decisions. The alliance's impact on EU policies is wide-ranging. In economic matters, the Franco-German approach has been instrumental in shaping the Eurozone's architecture and crisis response mechanisms. Their push for greater economic integration led to the creation of the Banking Union and the European Stability Mechanism. In foreign policy and defense, Franco-German initiatives have been driving forces behind the EU's common foreign and security policy and the more recent concept of strategic autonomy. Their joint advocacy has been crucial in maintaining a united EU stance on issues like sanctions against Russia or negotiations with Iran. The alliance also influences the EU's long-term direction. The idea of a multi-speed Europe, where some member states integrate more deeply in certain areas while others opt out, has roots in Franco-German thinking. Their support for enlargement has been pivotal in the EU's expansion, particularly to Central and Eastern Europe. However, it's important to note that Franco-German leadership in the EU is not without its critics. Smaller member states sometimes feel that decisions are being made by Paris and Berlin without adequate consultation. There's occasional resentment of what some perceive as a directorate approach to EU governance. Moreover, when France and Germany disagree, it can lead to policy paralysis in the EU. Their differences on issues like Eurozone reform or the pace of European integration can slow down decision-making processes. Despite these challenges, the reality remains that the Franco-German alliance is central to the EU's functioning. Their ability to find compromises between their often differing perspectives frequently creates blueprints for wider EU agreements. Whether it's pushing for deeper integration, responding to crises, or charting the EU's course in a changing world, the Franco-German partnership continues to be a driving force in European politics. While the Franco-German alliance has been a driving force in European integration, its effects on other EU member states are complex and multifaceted. For many EU members, the Franco-German alliance brings significant benefits. It provides stability and direction to the European project, often breaking deadlocks in negotiations and pushing forward important initiatives. Smaller countries can benefit from the economic and political clout of this partnership, particularly when their interests align with Franco-German proposals. The alliance also serves as a model of reconciliation and cooperation, demonstrating how historical adversaries can become close partners. This has been particularly inspiring for countries in regions with complex historical relationships, such as the Balkans. However, the dominance of the Franco-German partnership also presents challenges for other EU members. There's a persistent concern about the emergence of a two-tier Europe, where France and Germany, along with a few other large countries, make decisions for the entire bloc. Smaller countries sometimes feel sidelined in major EU decisions, leading to frustration and occasional pushback. This power dynamic can be particularly problematic when Franco-German interests diverge from those of other member states. The Franco-German alliance thus faces a constant balancing act between exercising leadership and ensuring inclusivity. On one hand, their ability to forge compromises and drive initiatives is crucial for EU progress. On the other, they must be careful not to alienate other member states or create the perception of a Franco-German diktat. In recent years, both countries have made efforts to be more inclusive. The Weimar Triangle, a grouping of France, Germany, and Poland, is one example of an attempt to extend cooperation beyond the bilateral relationship. Despite these efforts, maintaining this balance remains a challenge. The EU's diversity in terms of size, economic models, and geopolitical priorities means that Franco-German proposals won't always align with every member state's interests. The Franco-German alliance has always been shaped by the personalities and visions of its leaders. Today, this partnership is embodied by French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Let's take a closer look at these leaders and their impact on the alliance. Emmanuel Macron, who became President of France in 2017, is known for his bold pro-European vision. A former investment banker and economy minister, Macron came to power with an agenda of reforming both France and the EU. He's been a vocal advocate for greater European integration, proposing ambitious ideas like a Eurozone budget, a European army, and a Europe that protects its citizens. He sees the Franco-German partnership as the driving force behind a more sovereign, united, and influential Europe on the global stage. On the German side, Olaf Scholz assumed the role of Chancellor in December 2021, succeeding the long-serving Angela Merkel. Scholz, a social democrat, brings a different style to the chancellorship. Known for his pragmatic and methodical approach, Scholz has had to navigate significant challenges early in his tenure, including the Ukraine crisis and its economic fallout. Scholz's vision for the alliance and Europe is rooted in continuity with a dash of reform. He has emphasized the need for a strong, sovereign Europe, echoing some of Macron's themes. The Macron-Scholz dynamic represents an interesting blend of styles. Macron's bold visions often provide the initial impetus, while Scholz's pragmatism helps in translating these ideas into workable policies. Their shared priorities include strengthening European defense capabilities, advancing the EU's green and digital transitions, and enhancing Europe's strategic autonomy. However, their partnership has also faced challenges. They've had to navigate differences on issues like energy policy, with France favoring nuclear power and Germany phasing it out. Despite these differences, Macron and Scholz have consistently reaffirmed the importance of the Franco-German alliance. Their joint appearances at EU summits and bilateral meetings underscore the continuing centrality of this relationship to European politics. As Europe faces a series of crises, from the ongoing impacts of the pandemic to the war in Ukraine and energy security concerns, the ability of Macron and Scholz to find common ground and lead effectively will be crucial. Their success or failure in strengthening the Franco-German alliance and advancing their vision for Europe will likely shape the continent's trajectory for years to come. Defense and security cooperation has become an increasingly important aspect of the Franco-German alliance, particularly in recent years. As global security challenges evolve, France and Germany have been working to strengthen Europe's defense capabilities and strategic autonomy. Let's explore their joint military projects and their stance on NATO and European defense autonomy. One of the most significant joint military projects is the Future Combat Air System, FCAS. This ambitious initiative aims to develop a next-generation fighter jet and associated systems by 2040. It's not just about creating a new aircraft, it's a comprehensive system that includes drones, satellites, and artificial intelligence. This project symbolizes the desire of both countries to maintain technological sovereignty in defense and reduce dependence on non-European suppliers. Another key joint venture is the Main Ground Combat System, MGCS, a project to develop a new battle tank to replace the German Leopard 2 and French Leclerc tanks. These projects, if successful, will form the backbone of European land and air defense for decades to come. France and Germany have also been instrumental in establishing the Permanent Structured Cooperation, PESCO, within the EU framework. This initiative allows member states to strengthen their defense cooperation, jointly develop defense capabilities, and enhance the EU's capacity to conduct operations independently. When it comes to NATO and European defense autonomy, the Franco-German position has been evolving. Both countries remain committed to NATO, recognizing its crucial role in European security. However, they've also been advocating for what they call strategic autonomy for Europe. This concept of strategic autonomy doesn't mean replacing NATO, but rather complementing it by enhancing Europe's ability to act independently when necessary. The idea gained momentum following uncertainties about US commitment to European security and the realization that Europe needs to take more responsibility for its defense. France, under President Macron, has been particularly vocal about the need for European strategic autonomy. Germany, traditionally more cautious about initiatives that might be seen as challenging NATO, has gradually moved closer to the French position, especially in light of recent global developments. This shift was evident in the EU's Strategic Compass, a document outlining the bloc's security and defense strategy, which was strongly supported by both France and Germany. The document calls for enhancing the EU's capacity for autonomous action while maintaining strong cooperation with NATO. However, challenges remain. There are ongoing debates about how to balance EU defense initiatives with NATO commitments and how to finance increased defense spending. Moreover, other EU members, particularly those in Eastern Europe, sometimes view Franco-German defense proposals with caution, fearing they might weaken the transatlantic link. Despite these challenges, France and Germany continue to push for a stronger European defense identity. Their joint leadership in this area is crucial for the EU's ambition to become a more capable and autonomous global actor in security and defense. The Franco-German alliance plays a crucial role in shaping Europe's geopolitical stance, particularly in its relations with global powers like the United States, China, and Russia. Let's examine how this partnership navigates these complex relationships. When it comes to relations with the United States, the Franco-German approach has been one of maintaining strong transatlantic ties while advocating for greater European autonomy. Both countries recognize the importance of the US as a key ally, especially within the NATO framework. However, recent years have seen a push for what they call a more balanced partnership, During the Trump administration, tensions arose over issues like trade, defense spending, and climate change. This period accelerated Franco-German efforts to strengthen Europe's strategic autonomy. Even with the Biden administration's more cooperative approach, France and Germany continue to advocate for a stronger European voice in global affairs. The alliance supports maintaining strong economic and security ties with the US, while also asserting Europe's right to pursue its own interests when they diverge from American policies. This was evident in their stance on the Iran nuclear deal, where they sought to preserve the agreement despite US withdrawal. Regarding China, the Franco-German approach has been evolving. Both countries recognize China's economic importance, but have grown increasingly wary of its geopolitical ambitions. They've been instrumental in shaping the EU's policy of viewing China simultaneously as a cooperation partner, an economic competitor, and a systemic rival. France and Germany have pushed for a united European approach to China, balancing economic opportunities with concerns over human rights, technology transfer, and fair competition. They've supported EU initiatives like the investment screening mechanism to protect strategic European assets. However, they've also been careful not to completely alienate China, recognizing its crucial role in global issues like climate change. The alliance's approach to Russia presents perhaps the most significant challenge. Historically, Germany has favored engagement with Russia, particularly in energy relations, as exemplified by the Nord Stream pipeline projects. France, while also advocating dialogue, has often taken a firmer stance on Russian actions in Ukraine and elsewhere. However, recent events, particularly Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, have led to a significant shift in the Franco-German approach. Both countries have strongly condemned Russian aggression and have been at the forefront of coordinating EU sanctions against Russia. Germany's decision to suspend Nord Stream 2 and significantly increase its defense spending marked a historic shift in its foreign policy, aligning more closely with the French position. The alliance has been crucial in maintaining European unity in the face of Russian aggression, coordinating military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine, and pushing for energy diversification to reduce dependence on Russian fossil fuels. In navigating these complex relationships, France and Germany often act as a bridge between different perspectives within the EU. They seek to balance maintaining strategic partnerships, protecting European interests, and upholding democratic values. As the global order continues to evolve, with rising tensions between the US and China, an increasingly assertive Russia, and emerging challenges in areas like cybersecurity and climate change, the Franco-German alliance's ability to forge common European positions will be more crucial than ever. Their joint leadership will be key in determining Europe's place in this changing geopolitical landscape. The alliance's significance extends beyond bilateral relations, acting as a catalyst for broader European cooperation and often setting the agenda for the EU's future. The future of Europe, in many ways, hinges on the strength and vision of this dynamic duo. Their ability to bridge differences, forge compromises, and lead by example will be key to realizing the dream of a strong, united, and globally influential Europe. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more geopolitical stories.